This is from Nila in the United States. I think this plan has been sitting in the back of my mind for over a year, slowly becoming more real with each month. It's something I've never told my parents, because if they knew, they'd try to talk me out of it. Or worse, find a way to stop me entirely. I'm 23 years old, but my parents still treat me like I'm a teenager. They want to know where I am at all times. They expect text updates if I'm out. They weigh in on my spending, my schedule, even my friends. It's like they don't realize I've been taking care of myself for years now. I've been a nurse since I was 19. I've worked long shifts, handled emergencies, and made decisions in moments where hesitation wasn't an option. I've been responsible for people's lives. Yet, when I'm home, I'm still treated as if I can't be trusted to manage my own. Growing up, I thought this was normal. My parents always said they were just protecting me. And for a long time, I believed that. But at some point, I realized their protection also meant I wasn't allowed to make my own choices, even in small things like how to spend my money. For example, I was never allowed to have friends over, not even my closest ones. If someone did come by, my parents stood nearby the whole time, like they were monitoring every word. It made my world feel small, like privacy wasn't something I was supposed to have. And there's another thing. They often compared me to my brother, who has autism, and assumed I needed the same level of care. I have ADHD, but I've always been capable of managing my own life. They didn't see that, so I decided I'd have to prove it quietly. I've been with my fiancé for 2 years. From the start, he treated me like an equal. He never tried to make decisions for me. He asked for my opinion on everything, even the little stuff. That's when it hit me. I'd never really been in a relationship where someone saw me as a capable adult. When we got engaged, the idea of living together became real. I wanted it, but I knew my parents wouldn't approve if I moved in before marriage, so we decided to wait, and the plan was simple. After the wedding, I'd go straight to our new place instead of back to my parents' house. We kept the plan between us. I opened a separate savings account and started putting money aside from every paycheck. Over the next year, I built up enough to feel secure. Every deposit felt like one step closer to freedom, and they never noticed. The hardest part was hiding the signs. I avoided talking about my future in front of them. I made sure not to leave anything important lying around that could give me away, like a receipt for new furniture or a lease agreement. If they asked where I'd been, I gave short, vague answers and quickly changed the subject. Fun fact, around 30% of young adults say their parents still control or heavily influence their major life decisions even after they turn 21. Wanting independence doesn't mean you're rejecting your family. It means you're ready to live life on your own terms. Growing up under that much control leaves its mark. Even now, I second-guess myself over the smallest choices, like what to wear or how to spend my day off. Sometimes I even feel guilty for doing things just because they make me happy. It's like a part of me is still waiting for permission that will never come. Anyway, as the wedding got closer, the pressure to act normal grew heavier. My parents assumed I'd live with them after the honeymoon to save money. I smiled, nodded, and said nothing. Inside, I was counting down the days until I could finally leave. I became good at playing along. At family dinners, I'd join in their conversations about how convenient it would be to have me back home. All the while, I was running through mental checklists of what I still needed to move into the new apartment. When I was alone with my fiancé, the conversations felt completely different. We talked about the exact spot for our couch, which dishes we should get, and how it would feel to wake up knowing the day was ours to plan. Those moments kept me going. Slowly, I started moving small things into his apartment. A sweater one week, a few books the next. Each trip felt like moving a piece of my life across a line I wasn't supposed to cross. I was careful not to take anything my parents would notice right away. Most of my clothes, personal items, and keepsakes stayed at their house until the final day. That way, if they checked my room, everything would look the same. Sometimes my mother would remind me how much she and my father look out for me. She'd talk about all the decisions they'd helped me make. I'd nod, but deep down, It reminded me of all the times I didn't get to decide for myself. Late at night when the house was quiet, I'd think about how different my life could be once I moved. I pictured coming home without having to answer questions about where I'd been. I imagined choosing what to cook for dinner without anyone's opinion. The guilt wasn't easy to ignore. Some nights I wondered if I was doing the right thing. Would they see this as me abandoning them? Or would they one day understand that I just needed to live my own life? Still, I couldn't let the guilt stop me. I'd been planning this for too long to back out now. I kept reminding myself, I wasn't running away from them. I was moving toward the life I wanted. Sometimes I'd picture unlocking the apartment door for the first time, knowing it was mine, and that thought alone kept me steady. The night before the wedding, I barely slept. My suitcase was already hidden at my fiancé's apartment. Lying in bed, I kept imagining both futures, one where I stayed and one where I left. Only one of them felt like I could finally breathe. The wedding day felt like a blur. I smiled for photos, thanked guests, and danced, but in the back of my mind, I knew the biggest moment of the day wasn't going to be captured on camera. After the reception, my parents assumed we'd stop by their house. My mom hugged me and told me she'd see me soon. I didn't correct her. I just smiled, knowing we were about to drive in a completely different direction. Once we were in the car, I felt my heart pounding. My suitcase was in the trunk, heavier than it should have been. Each mile we drove away from my parents' home made me feel lighter, but also more nervous about what would happen when they found out. When we reached the apartment, my fiancé unlocked the door and let me walk in first. I stepped into a space that was quiet, warm, and mine. No one was waiting by the door to ask where I'd been or why I was late. I put my suitcase on the floor and started unpacking. Shirts in the dresser, shoes in the closet, my toothbrush next to his in the bathroom. Each small thing made it feel more real. This was my home now. But the excitement came with a knot in my stomach. I knew that one day soon my parents would realize I had moved out without telling them. That conversation was going to be hard, no matter how I tried to explain it. That night, lying in bed, I thought about how different things already felt. There was no sound of footsteps in the hallway. No one knocking to ask me questions. It was just quiet. The silence was strange at first. My body still expected interruptions, like years of habit were hardwired into me. I caught myself glancing at the door, waiting for someone to walk in, even though no one would. Every time my phone rings now, my chest tightens. I wonder if this will be the moment they find out. I play out the possibilities. Will they be angry, hurt, silent? I honestly don't know which would be worse. Sometimes I think about calling them first, just to explain before they hear it from someone else. But I keep hesitating. I want them to hear the pride in my voice, but I'm afraid they won't hear it at all. I don't have all the answers yet. All I know is I'm finally living in a place where I can make my own choices without asking for permission. Maybe one day they'll see that this wasn't about leaving them. It was about finding myself. If you were in my position, what would you say to them? Your words might mean something to someone going through the same thing. Thank you for listening to my story. If it spoke to you, please like the video and subscribe for more real stories about people's lives.